Hi there, it's Ron Gula from Gula Tech Adventures. In this video, I want to discuss some points on cyber economic development. There's been a lot of news about the federal government and a variety of states doing a variety of programs to increase cyber economic development. Well, one of the issues with this is that we never really define exactly what cyber economic development is. And to me, it's really two different things. One, it's the protection of businesses from a cybersecurity point of view. And two, it's the creation of jobs. I'm going to talk about both. So when it comes to protecting businesses, there's been a lot of different things going on at a lot of different levels. Currently, right now, the highest level thing is in the federal government. We have the National Cybersecurity Strategy, which outlines a strategy to defend the country and protect it in cyberspace. Unfortunately, if you're a small business or a nonprofit, it's really hard to see how you fit into this. And a lot of times you have to turn to local resources such as your county or your state. And there's been some work there. Almost every state is part of the multi-state ISAC. Almost every state has managed service providers and managed security service providers in their organization. And we've also had an increase of something called cyber clinics, where we actually operate hands-on nonprofit endeavors doing a wide variety of cyber work funded by the Newmark Foundation as well as Google. So there's a lot of these things going on at the state level. It's still a little bit disjointed. There's still not one place to go and call like you can for a fire department or a police department. And depending on your level of sophistication, you might not want to call these people for a variety of reasons. So it's really hard for the state and the federal government to basically say, hey, we're going to take an active role in protecting these companies. It's very indirect type of things that are going on. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. But I highly recommend that people who are watching this video, they want to increase their prowess in their business. They go to the Center for Internet Security and they check out some of their guides. And they see how that can be used for both small business and nonprofits. And also see if there's a cyber clinic in your area that can do assessments just to see how good your business is. Now, the second part of cyber economic growth is jobs. And it's the second part, and this is really two parts, right? The first one is trying to entice people into the cyber workforce. And the second thing that I like to include is creating cyber technology companies. They're two very, very different things, but both of them create jobs and both of them go to defending the country's cyberspace. So the first part, right now, there's plenty and plenty of organizations out there who offer basically free to low-cost entry-level cybersecurity training. We've got a lot of direct exposure to this through our investment with Cybrary. We also have a lot of direct exposure to this as the Gula Tech Foundation, where a number of grants that we've done have specifically gone towards increasing cybersecurity awareness and trying to increase people's involvement with our career field. What we found, it's not the lack of training. All of these companies out there and these nonprofits can handle training more people. It's the lack of people going through the training. So Cindy Gula, my wife, she came up with this concept called data care, which really tries to appeal to the general public in the same way the medical profession kind of rebranded to the healthcare industry. It's not really the lack of training and the lack of vehicles to teach people about cyber. It's not certainly the lack of jobs. It's the lack of awareness in the general public to go get trained and understand what it means to be in this career field. So by calling it data care, we can get more people interested in taking this type of training. But right now, Cybrary has capacity. There's a lot of great companies out there that do cyber training. There's a lot of great nonprofits that can do training. You can go to ISC Squared, you can go to SANS, you can go to a lot of these different places. They are not at capacity. They can handle a lot more. We just have to do a better job of recruiting people to this industry. Now, the second thing I mentioned for creating jobs in the cyber industry is creating technology companies. Now, as the co-founder and CEO, original CEO of Tenable, a lot of people would always send me cybersecurity resumes. And I had always said, look, it's a great resume, but I've got my research team, right? I've got my vulnerability team. I need a good lawyer. I need a good marketing person. I need a good HR person. I need a good sales leader. I need a good IT person. I need a good facilities manager. I need all these things to run a successful company. And this is something that I think a lot of states and local counties don't really take into consideration when they're trying to do cyber workforce development. One or two good cyber product companies is worth thousands, if not tens of thousands of cyber people. Now, we need both. We certainly just can't train ourselves out of this problem and create an infinite number of cyber works. And you might feel like we have too many cyber companies as it is. The reality is we don't have enough innovative companies. When you walk around RSA and you see thousands and thousands of companies, you see a lot of companies doing the same thing. What I want is I want to create companies, and this is what states should want to do, that are unique and solve unique problems. If you do this, you won't need as many people in the cyber industry to keep our companies and our data safe. More so, if you're listening to this and you work in the state or you work in the county level, if you can create these companies and you can create them in something called an opportunity zone, which is a federal tax vehicle where you can create these companies and they have to stay in the zone. Now, they don't pay any federal taxes, but they do pay state and local taxes. They also have the benefit from the state's point of view that you have to stay there. A lot of my companies, a lot of the CEOs, once they get successful, they move to Florida, they move to Texas, they move to some place where there's a low tax rate, possibly better weather than the Northeast, but it's usually more about taxes. The point is that if you have an opportunity zone, you have a built-in reason to grow a great cyber company in your hometown, in your home state. And this is something that I think should be factored into the equation. Tenable's influence on the state of Maryland was pretty good. We have a visible presence. We have the ability to inspire people and attract people to the industry. Imagine if there were 10 Tenables. Imagine if you could start 10 cyber companies around the one that exists in there. And when I say cyber companies, I'm talking cyber product companies. So that's sort of my view on cyber economic development. Two big parts. How do we defend the economies and keep them resilient in the industries that we're trying to protect? And of course, how do we create more opportunities for people to join cyber and technologies to defend our companies in cyberspace as well? I'm Ron Gula. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out our other videos and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn. Have a great day.